New York City is very busy this morning, you can imagine, as Trump gets ready to turn himself in. We've got a live look zoomed in there on the Trump Tower sign. The 45th president has not been seen yet this morning. And joining us right now to talk more about it, former US Congressman and attorney and author Ric Keller. You've got quite the resume, my friend. Good to see you.
Good to be with you, Amy.
So let's talk first about what we can expect today, starting with this 11 a.m. Of him walking over to the courthouse. What do you anticipate?
Just another routine day at the courthouse. You know, I think they'll handle it like every other former president who's been criminally prosecuted. Obviously, I'm teasing. I think you're going to see a circus-like atmosphere on the outside. There's going to be helicopters going around and Marjorie Taylor Greene across the state and protesters and lots of drama. I think in terms of externally, I would imagine that they would bring him through some side entrance to minimize the drama. But he'll arrive and he'll go to the DA's office and then go through a lot of things that a criminal defendant normally would, such as being arrested and fingerprinted, but he'll be spared other things. You're not going to see, I don't think you'll even see a mugshot, handcuffing, a perp walk, any of that other type of stuff. And then he'll be taken in front of the judge for the arraignment proceeding.
Rick, it's interesting listening to both sides, talk about this and what today means. And, on the one hand, you've got Republicans who say, oh, this is it. You've sealed the deal. He's going to be elected president again. On the other side, Democrats are saying, oh, this is sealed the deal. There's no way he's going to be elected president again. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. But why do you think the two sides view it so differently?
Well, there's some support for each. If you look at what Republicans are saying, for example, he's up 30 points in the polls and the base is staying with him. 3 out of 4 people are staying with him in this case. So I think there is a good chance that this rallies Republicans behind him. He's already raised $8 million in a few days. On the other hand, Democrats have something to say, too, in that you have states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan that you need to win, that he won the first time but not the second time. And the polling there among independents is horrible, with only 25% of people approving him. So it may be something to the effect that it helps him in the primary, but perhaps not so much in the general.
And how will history view this? I've had people on Twitter say, oh, well, what about Bill Clinton? And they go back to Monica Lewinsky. And we talked about, John Edwards and what happened with him during his, run for political office. How do you think history will view Trump?
Well, I think the pictures that will be taken today, right before the hearing starts in the courtroom, will be in the history books. This is a big deal. It's a historic occasion in terms of what happens. What the historians show. It's hard to say. For example, Andrew Johnson thought it was horrible back in the day when he was impeached, and the history books show that it was very political and really didn't make him look that bad. And so all the smoke needs to clear before we know. But here are the two things that I'm looking at, Amy. Number one, we've heard about 34 charges. We don't know what they are yet. Neither does President Trump. So the first thing I want to see, is there anything surprising among those 34? Anything, for example, that's beyond the alleged hush money payment. So we want to see that. The second thing to look for, I think most interesting, is whether the judge places some sort of gag order in place, either restricting him from talking about the case or a more narrow gag order where he's not allowed to trash the prosecutors or the judges. And I think that's particularly significant here, because I think that would be something very difficult for President Trump to muzzle himself here. He's an animated guy who has strong opinions, and I would be very concerned that if there's a gag order and he violates it, that is a way you can get put in jail for 30 days.
Gotcha. So that might make that speech at Mar-a-Lago tonight, something that's not going to happen. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Or if it does happen, he's not going to be able to talk about the case. He's going to be able to talk about life in general being unfair and that sort of thing. And that's why we need to contribute to his campaign and other things. But it could severely restrict the topics he's allowed to talk about.
All right. Always great to talk to you, former U.S. Congressman Ric Keller. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.